even deals where labels will want a piece of, if you start a clothing line while you're signed.
Yep.
That they can somehow figure out was from the music. They want a piece of it. This happened to a friend of mine who has my boy's got a really big clothing line. I mean, it's huge. He had signed a deal probably 2012, 2013. And there was actually a discussion that he might have to give up some of his clothing line.
Yeah. And I understand some of the terms for an artist that you take from nothing, who like no one knows this nigga, and all of a sudden everyone.
Those people aren't getting deals though.
They're getting three. They are.
Are they?
They just getting three. They're getting it. It's an all encompassing deal because they're making your brand. But to take a nigga who's coming in, who's already selling out shows and selling tickets and selling stock, and say, "Oh, we want this," it's just like you're fucking insane. So you don't even have an artist on your roster that's at the level that I'm at, but you want those things.
So there are situations in which you could see a 360 deal benefiting an artist.
I think a 360 deal is hyper beneficial if you're a businessman. Like because every artist don't have streaming. But some of us, I did $500,000 on my own shows last year, not counting outside performances. Right. I do $500,000 on merch. So if you're able to leverage those things in exchange for capital outside of the streaming, I don't think that's a bad deal. I think that's a great, if you go partner with anyone and you say, hey, I love your business, I want 1%, I'll put all this money up, that's not a bad thing. That's what every fucking startup company, tech company does. I think it's a bad thing when it's like, when you don't give a nigga the amount of funds to actually build it or the infrastructure and resource to actually build it, and you're just going to take it, it's different. It's a little more. It's a little off-putting. Right. Or if it's someone who's already established all this shit and you're not giving them the means of capital to excel it, but you want to take it, it's just like, bro, you got to contribute to get out of that shit.
I heard. Did you ever see the Leor Cohen interview? He explained the 360 deal.
Yeah.
So he kind of explained it as, if you and I start a restaurant together and I'm the investor, and you start taking the sauce that's popping and selling it at Walmart, do I get a piece of the sauce? And I understood it from that angle. And like you said, like if you're an artist who doesn't have a cult following, doesn't have a brand, doesn't really have anything going, maybe a little TikTok moment, maybe it is worth it.
It makes so much sense
to dive into the machine, because you'll get on the other side of that deal eventually.
And it'll help you recoup faster. Mm-hmm. It'll help because product sells way faster than music, right? Yeah. So you'll be able to recoup and be out your situation way faster if it aligns. Like I said, if someone's helping you build all those revenues, like if you don't have a merch business going and someone says, "Oh, I'll help you make $1 million in merch," yeah, I think they should have a percent.
If you're doing
to do
zero,
that shit standard. For every nigga that comes in this office, you just offer it to him. It's like some of my issues with some of the deals I got is like, I'll give a proposal and they'll ask what I want and I'll get the contract back and it's a bunch of shit that we didn't even discuss. It's like you don't just throw something in a nigga contract without
it's like a political bill. Someone. Like they be like, yo, they be trying to throw so much shit into these bills that are supposed to be about something else, and you be like really reading, like, wait, what? We're fucking what?
Right.
No, that's some real shit. It's crazy because I do feel like, if there's anybody who can kind of lead a real change and renaissance into how this is thought of, I think it's you, man, because I'm seeing it. I saw Curtis King post his shit from Even. Right. What is Even?
So Even is an all-encompassing platform. Eventually is going to grow to an artist hub.
Are you a part of it? Or
Yeah, I have equity in.
Okay, so you have equity in Even.
Yeah,
I've been seeing people post the
very first launch of Even
was Spotify recaps. This is what I did.
Right,
you know what
hilarious. Yeah, man. Even is an all-encompassing platform for artists. Like we just give artists the ability to monetize and sell their music if they don't have their own situation. Some artists don't have a Shopify setup or just want to have a website and all that shit. It even makes it easy for the fans to come support and buy your music directly from you.
What's the play? So my whole thing with the third party shit, right, is we're so conditioned to play music on certain apps. So if I buy an album on Even,
it's set up just like Spotify. It's an in-app streaming.
So I'll download the Even app on my phone, right? Mm-hmm. So if I purchase
web-based. It's web-based, so it's not.
So that's what y'all got to figure out.
Eventually, it'll.
Y'all got to get the app because that's for fan experience purposes,
right?
That's what you want. You want to be able to be like, oh, cool, I got my Even library of all the shit I've supported.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to just press play.
And I believe he built it web-based based off like data that people were still kind of going online for specific
That's got to be the next thing.
And it's like Even was really built from the dirt a year ago. Like I just did the very first launch last year when I did 100,000 on the album. That was the first anybody's heard of it in existence. And I campaigned the whole Proud to Pay offer. But like this shit was built from the dirt. And in 1 year we've gotten Omarion's and Dizzy Wrights and a bunch of major labels are on board now. Like the majors are going to Even so they can run their upcoming artists through it.
I wonder, like, because I feel like if I was an up and coming artist, I would want to have that option. Like, is that going to get worked into my deal? Where like, yo, if I want to be able to, you guys might get a cut of this, but I want to be able to sell my shit.
Right.
For maybe the first week.
I mean, a lot of artists, see, when you're going into the major system, it's so different. Because it's very hard to sell music that you don't own.
It is. Straight up. Very hard. Yeah. You got to ask permission.
Right.